an interesting, exhausting but hard campaign, but I liked it.
This is Mr. Juncker.
As
this is the voice of Mr. Juncker.
We are gathering now, we don't know about the final results, but the final results will be the one we were asking for when we were campaigning. Das, was die Europäer heute als europaweites Resultat.
What the Europeans are seeing now as a result right across Europe corresponds to what we expected.
The turnout is higher than it was last time, so the Europeans put a stop to this lowering turnout we were witnessing over the last, how could I say, decades. And that's good news for the European democracy. And as this 25th of May was an election day in the European Union and an election day in UK, I'm happy to see that European democracy is progressing. If we want European democracy to progress, if we want to take the expression of the voters' will in a serious way, we have to respect what the European electors were saying tonight. Although we don't know about the final result, we do know, because we do know more than others, that the EPP will be seen at latest in 2 or 3 hours from now as the party having won these elections. As we did win these elections, I feel fully entitled to become the next president of the European Commission. This was not the only issue about when the Europeans went to polls today, but it's a particular issue provoking some interest as far as I'm concerned, and so I'm very happy about this result. L'extrême droite, contrairement à ce qu'on...
Unlike what's being said in some parts of the media, the extreme right didn't win the elections. In all countries, pro-European forces, if you add up the results of the socialists, the liberals, the greens, etc., clearly won the elections. Tomorrow's majority in the European Parliament will be clearly pro-European. Thank you, Europeans, for having voted in that way.
I think it is clear that we can assume that the lead candidate from the winning party will be president of the Commission. But we know that not only the voters have a right to decide who will become the president of the Commission, also the European Council and the European Parliament have a serious role to play. And the president of the Commission will be approved by the Parliament, and so that means that the person who is approved by the Council and by the European Parliament, following the meetings of the heads of the groups next week, will be responsible. And I will be ensuring that there is a majority, and there will be no getting around the EPP, and it will be important for us to have a good cooperation. No one should try to come up with a different majority. It is important that we follow these democratic processes. And forces against Europe or from the extreme right, if they reject the role, it is important that we respect the pro-European votes, and assuming that this will be the case.
I will reject any contribution by the extreme right. I want to be elected by the forces of progress and democracy in the European Parliament.
Questions in the 4 languages you are practicing: Luxembourgish, not Dutch. I only have a passive understanding of Dutch. Luxembourgish, German, French, and English, which shouldn't be the lingua franca of Europe, because French and German are as important languages as the English is. And I don't laugh, I will prove it. I will give my first press conference only in French.
Okay, questions? We have a micro here. Who has questions? Okay.
A British first.
No, it's a German.
It's a German. He didn't deplore because I was mentioning French and not German.
So
the second part will be in
May I raise my question in English nevertheless?
Yeah, okay. In American, yes, okay.
Could you please tell us which European capitals you already had phone contact?
Many.
For example, zum Beispiel?
Luxembourg, Germany, and others.
And you are encouraged.
And I'm not the spokesman of national governments, by the way.
And you are encouraged to and entitled to put the mandate for European Commission President.
We had elections today, and as it seems, the EPP has won these elections. So this is a question which is not a question, but which is an evidence.
That was clear, I think. Any other questions? You have the possibility. Yes,
yes.
Sir.
Kai Niklas from German television, ZDF. Mr. Juncker.
ZDF heißt das auf Deutsch.
ZDF, ja, kann ich auch auf Deutsch fragen.
Yes, I can ask my question in German as well. You've said that you want to work together with the democratic forces, with the Social Democrats. I think you're holding out the hand to Martin Schulz. He said this evening that he wants to form a coalition with those who are positively disposed towards him. Well, I'm not someone who wouldn't hold out a hand to others, but I'd like to see his outstretched hand. And I will take the hand of anyone who holds out their hand. I will discuss things with all democratic parties. Jacques Delors once said that it's perhaps not clever to quote this at the end of a campaign, but said that it's a joint project, but that the Christian Democrats have contributed more. I'm happy to work with him, but I think it's clear that there are differences, and I think that is something that we see clearly during elections. A bridge builder, I like to reach consensus, but I'm not willing to compromise at any price.
Tom Fellis from the Wall Street Journal. Mr. Juncker, how satisfied are you with the election results in Ukraine, particularly given that a lot of people in the east of the country seem not to have been able to participate?
I'm very satisfied as far as the result of the presidential elections in Ukraine are concerned, because this was clearly proving that the majority of the Ukrainian people was clearly moving in the direction of courage, responsibility, and the expansion of deeper democratic feelings. So I'm very happy about the result, and I'm even more happy about the fact that these elections took place, because weeks ago this was not as obvious as it seems today. And I really do hope that an atmosphere of dialogue will re-enter the relations between Ukraine and Russia. We need both of them. Last.
The gentleman here and the lady here, these are the last 3 questions. Huh?
Focus.
As an English businessman, how would you intend to support English business within the European community?
I'm not an English businessman.
I am.
Yes, but I have won the elections.
true.
That makes a difference.
But how would you support me within the European Union?
I'm in favor of nuanced free trade. I'm in favor of respecting the cardinal virtues of social market economy. I would like Britain to stay as an active, a vital, a sense-giving member of the European Union, despite what all the British papers, I don't know about the businessmen, have written in recent times. I'm not the enemy of Britain. I want to cooperate with Britain in a very normal way. I do think that in Europe there is a need for the British common sense, for this down-to-earth oriented political behavior. I'm ready to negotiate with Britain. All the pardon?
You would support it?
Support what?
Support the English trade within the European Union?
No. I'm not the president of the Commission being on his knees before Britain, and I don't want Britain to be on its knees when it comes to worshipping Europe. I do think that common sense-oriented people will always be able to make a deal. I want a fair deal with Britain. Entering parts of the British requests, the British requests will be clear they are not for the time being, and I want Britain to understand, to respect the others. I'm not anti-British. Far from that. In several countries I have been attacked during this campaign for being too pro-British.
The lady here, and then Mr. Moritz as the last one.
Yeah.
Martina Herzog, DPA.
Ja,
Können Sie sich vorstellen? Ja. Hallo.
Hallo.
Can you see a situation where in a few weeks' time Martin Schulz would become president of the Commission? I have an almost unlimited imagination, but I don't think it would stretch that far.
So we had some